Hi, my name is Maria Pierce, and I'm a Surge Tech student. I'm hopefully in my last month of my externship, and hopefully this is the last time I have to do one of these videos. It's been a long, hard road, especially for me, because I've been working 2 jobs, plus doing my clinicals, and homework and my family and everything else. I just am so drained. I'm ready for all this to be over with, and I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. I can't stress enough how important time management is. That's what I've struggled with all through school. You have to, regardless of what your situation is, you have to set aside time for your homework and for your classwork, and even still have time for your family. It's really difficult. But, to get through this process, you have to do what you have to do, and thank God for my family. They've been very supportive, and they understand, when I'm stressed out and when I need to be left alone to do homework or, whatever it may be. Without them, I don't think I could have gotten to where I am today. They've stood behind me, like 100%. So having a good support system is huge as well. Externship, it really hasn't been that bad, but I can say I did learn tons and tons and tons in externship. What we learn in class is very minimal to what we actually do in the OR. It's just endless what we do. And with that, you have to be open-minded and willing to learn and accept constructive criticism. You have to be very open-minded. There's a whole lot that goes on in the OR that some probably couldn't imagine. Whether it be the surgeons being jerks, or your nurse or your circulator. We all have bad days, but sometimes there's some that take it to extreme, and you have to know how to bite your tongue and just accept it and go on. There's like so many different personalities that come in and out of the OR. It's a lot of times they really clash. You have to be ready for anything, basically. I mean, you have to be on your toes at all times. Whether it's a procedure you've done time and time again and you think it's going to be the same thing over and over, well, you're dead wrong, because there are, situations that arise in every case, and sometimes you just have to, be ready and willing to adapt. And that's, a huge part of, learning to be part of a team in the OR, and be, willing to help where help is needed, and just be on your toes. It's a hard place to adjust to, which I've learned that rather quickly. You've got some that are very willing to help you learn, and they want to teach you. And some, I was actually told by a nurse one day that students are to be seen and not heard, which I found that pretty insulting, considering when I'm there in my externship, I'm kind of doing their job for them, not necessarily for the nurses, but for, the preceptors and who, whatnot. But it was rather insulting, and I kind of took it to heart, and maybe I shouldn't have, but you just have to be willing to accept whatever comments are thrown at you. Learning the instruments is very, very important. You learn the basics in school, and when you actually get in the OR, you're going to see instruments that you never dreamed of seeing before. I've been in externship now for quite a long time, and there's still instruments that I'm learning and will continue to learn, and all of them have, 1, 2, 3 different names. The surgeons, they all call them something different. You just have to learn your surgeons, know your instruments, know what your surgeon calls each of the instruments for, your different cases and everything. You just have to be really adaptable to whatever the situation may be. I'm still learning. I'll be learning for years and years to come, but just be open-minded. Be willing to accept the criticism that is going to come at you, whether you want it to or not. And just be ready for anything, because you really never know from one day to the next what's coming at you. Something else I want to talk about is like sterile technique. Sterile technique is huge, 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 huge. No matter what you do, you have to keep in mind that you have a patient's life in your hands, and if your sterile technique is off in any way, you can, cause infection, that could ultimately lead to death for a patient. So, you always have to be aware of what you're doing and basically what everyone else in the room is doing as far as, your back table and keeping it sterile, and your Mayo stand and keeping it sterile, and just, be aware of everyone around you, your preceptors, your circulators, when they're passing something to you, whether it be more suture or whatever it may be, you really have to watch them, because they're not quite as conscious of your sterile field as you are. And you just have to make sure that, everything you do is with good sterile technique, so that you're protecting your patient at all times. You have to keep in mind that, it's ultimately your job to keep your patient safe. Even though there's many others in the room, it's ultimately your job as a surgical technologist to keep everything sterile. You're the one passing the instruments and the suture and, you're holding retractors and everything else. So, you know, you absolutely have to keep sterile technique at all times. Just, you have to be a team player too. You know, it takes a team, definitely, for an OR to run smoothly. And you have to be willing to help when help is needed. You have to be, you know, willing to give breaks if breaks are needed, and, you know, take the dirty linen out, help flip the rooms over. You know, whether you think that's your job or not, it is. So always be willing to help anywhere that help is needed. And, you know, I have found, stay busy. If you're in between cases, or your case doesn't start for an hour, or if, you know, you're done with cases for the day, or whatever it may be, just stay busy. Otherwise, your day is just going to drag. You know, you can help with setting up other rooms. You can help, you know, turning rooms over. You can help with instruments, and, you know, taking all the dirty out of the room down to, you know, the dirty room. Just do whatever you have to do to help out, and your day is going to go by a whole lot smoother. I like to stay busy. I don't like to be bored. I don't like to sit on my butt with nothing to do. You know, and if you do that, that just makes you look bad. It makes you look lazy. They're not going to think that you're a team player. You know, you have to keep all that in mind, especially if you want to get a job, which I, thank goodness, just found out that I got the job that I applied for. And I look forward to starting my new journey. I mean, it's been a long time coming, and I am so beyond ready to start this next chapter of my life. Just, you know, always keep in mind time management. That's like the biggest key. And being a team player. Focus on your studies and getting your homework done, and being a team player. Just, you know, do your best. Always put your best foot forward. When you need help, ask for it. Don't wait till the last minute to say, hey, you know, I think I need help with this, because that's not going to, that's not going to help you. You have to ask lots and lots of questions, especially in the OR when you're in your externship. Ask tons of questions. And I have found that most of the surgeons like it when you ask questions. And they want to teach you, and they want you to learn, because you are going to be the one that's there, in every one of their cases. So they want you to know as much as possible. That way it makes their job go easier and smoother. So, ask lots of questions. Be confident in what you do know. That'll get you to the end. I guess that's all I have.